Hi there, welcome to another edition of Pitchside. Allow me to definitely appreciate everyone that takes their time to check out this content. Thank you so much. And you who is new and is definitely watching this content for the very first time, I also welcome you, but request you to hit the subscription button. When you subscribe, you definitely get all the big stories, all the exclusive content that comes your way here on Pitchside. So hit the subscription button, Pitchside with Tabu Peter on YouTube, and you will definitely join the big family. So let's get going. Today's edition is a bit personal and emotional because we are definitely going to be talking about mental health in Ugandan football. Very, very privileged to be joined by two distinguished gentlemen who are going to introduce themselves later or in a bit. And that is definitely why they are on set today. But just to set the scene for you, according to the statistics that we know, about 72% of Ugandan footballers are struggling with mental health. But of course, in the country, up to 14 million people in Uganda are battling with mental health, and this includes anxiety, depression, and all of that. So we thought we should sit down and talk about some of these scenarios, especially with people who have been or who are actually actively playing football in the top flight, and of course have played football elsewhere, professionally and the national team. And that is when I introduce my guests today on set. On my left is a man known for banging in the goals with that celebration of the gun.
Goal machine.
Yeah, the goal machine. None other than Nels. I call him Nelzy. Ronaldo Dalima. Yes, don't be offended. Nelson Ssenkatuka. Nelson, it's a pleasure. Sir, welcome to Pitchside.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here to speak about mental health, and thank you for having me.
Okay, then of course on my right is someone who is doing two careers now at the same time, I should say. He's an active footballer, but also a qualified personnel in this field. The tallest Muganda in football, like is known, Joshua Lubwama Letti. Sebo, you're welcome on pitch side.
Thank you very much, Peter, for having me.
Yeah.
It's indeed an honor and quite interesting sharing about mental health. So thank you once again for having me.
All right, so guys, both of you, again, let me take this opportunity to appreciate both of you for sparing some time to come through for this very, very important discussion. I wanted to set the scene for someone who is watching us out there. Ugandan football specifically has had several cases of mental health issues, but I need to point out two that have been well documented. I think in 2024, Livingston Imbabazi, a former Uganda Cranes international, who of course is currently the assistant coach at Entebbe UPPC, a team that plays in the top flight, came out to, of course, talk about how he was battling depression and, alcohol abuse. And he explained what happened to him for him to reach, that situation. Not too long ago, one of Uganda's most successful club coaches in Coach Michael Mutebi was also in a situation where, of course, he went missing. He was later found. He's now recovering in hospital, but there are strong ties to, things to do with mental health and all of that. So I thought, why don't I, invite people like Joshua Letti and Nelson Ssenkatuka, and we get talking about some of the situations because they are extremely crucial. Let me start with you, Joshua Lubwama. When you whatever you are doing out there, when you saw the news that Coach Michael Mutebi had gone missing and he didn't know his whereabouts and he was later found and taken to hospital and all of that, what did you make of that whole situation?
First and foremost, I was really disappointed. Why?
Yeah.
And it was really so heartening. Why? Because that gentleman in Coach Mike,
Yeah.
he's one of the few icons that we have in the country.
Yeah.
Like basing on what he has done, speak about his history as a coach. He's one of the most decorated coaches here,
Yeah.
and somebody that has actually groomed most of the footballers in the country that have played on the national team, that have played professional stints, and all those things. So he's such an icon. So hearing about his story, honestly, it got me get emotional, and then thinking the fact that our country hasn't prioritized mental health so well. So I was thinking that if at all it has hit a man in Coach Mike, who is an icon,
Yeah.
how about there's so many people, different people out there who are not even known?
Yeah.
So if it hit him in such a way, that means that there are quite a number of people out there that are suffering. So to me, what I picked was to continue spreading awareness, and then to ensure that people and in our country that we prioritize mental health, because if it has hit such people like him, so how about there's so many different others that are not known? So it is really heartening, and trust me, it wasn't a very good gesture. And yeah, we can only pray that it gets better.
Nelson Ssenkatuka, I know that at some point in your career you worked with Coach Mike Mutebi. I don't want to look at how you worked with him. I want to look at you as Nelson Ssenkatuka. When the ordeal ended, he's now in hospital and is receiving treatment and all. What do you take home from that situation of Coach Mike?
Obviously, for everyone involved with football, it was a bit of a surprise. It's a bit shocking that something like that can come out in the media. I think for Coach Mike, it was very big because, of course, he's well known in the country and he's been at the top level. But there are very many other footballers who are not known who are going through the same. I think even Andrew Fimba Mukasa, his situation has been documented over and over the years, how he has had a problem mentally and all these things. And the former footballers have been coming out and trying to seek support for themselves, how they can be helped after their careers are done, even after coaching. But it's something that people have been maybe undermining or taking lightly. But I think now with Coach Mike's situation coming out, I think they should put more light on it and see how they can help former players, former coaches to transition into the next stage of their careers, because many of these people are people who have played and focused on football their entire life. Some of them have not studied. They're not able to get jobs after their career. And even when they have the papers to get jobs, they'll still stay in the football industry. So once that is taken away from you, it's a bit difficult to see what's next. I think Coach Mike has been staying at home for maybe the last 5 years. Sure. Very few people go to visit him. He's rarely seen at the stadiums, at the pitches. So this must have affected him, obviously, mentally, and it's not good to see. And we hope that now that these things are coming to the light, that people will take them more seriously and they'll be able to handle them and deal with them.
All right, I'll stick with you, Nelson. You've had quite a career. You've played for the national team, won that Sekafa title in Ethiopia. You played pro football. When I talk about depression and all of this, what's your experience like? I mean, what would you tell me about that kind of situation, and how have you been able to cope with this? Maybe you could pick out one or two examples.
I think it's not an easy topic to speak about. And these days, many footballers have come out to speak about depression and what they've gone through, not just in Uganda, but even internationally. Many players are starting to come out. So it's become easier to speak about it, and more people are going through it and admitting about what they're going through. We've seen Pogba, we've seen Dele Alli and all these people, and they're getting support from people, which is good to see. But before, when you speak about something like this, maybe you're seen as weak. You're seen, yeah, exactly. But on my personal level, obviously in Morocco, I went through a lot. There was racism, there was discrimination, there was a lot of stuff. But even the depression came through. You don't know that it's depression, but I think after you read and you understand more, you start to see the signs. You start to understand it more. For me personally, it came, I would say, you just don't feel like the best part of my day was sleeping, basically.
Wow. You looked forward to sleeping then.
You wake up in the morning and you can't wait for the night time to sleep.
Wow.
You were like, when is the day ending so I can sleep again? And just like, you don't have to go through the entire day. I just want the night time to reach so that I can sleep. That's when I knew that maybe there was a problem. And it wasn't just 1 month or 2 months, it was many months where you just feel like, man, it's morning time again.
I'll give you a very, and I keep saying this, and maybe it's now relatable to someone like you. I went to Egypt, I think last year, and I passed by El Makaulun, the Joachim Mojera's club, and Joseph Ochaya. And I went to a training session. It was so cold, and the entire training session was in Arabic. And after I asked Ojera, what are you training? Because even me who was watching, I didn't understand the thing. But whenever the coach would blow the whistle and speak Arabic words, Ojera would just follow what's happening. But I mean, when you mention things like the language barrier, the racism and all, I want to go back to that particular incident, one or two. How are you able to sort of like get through it? And maybe was it on the pitch? Was it in training? Was it your teammates? How was that situation?
I'll give you an example. When I just gone there, we had a Spanish coach and a Spanish sports director, and they're the ones that literally signed me. So the ones who were interested in me. So there was a translator. He would speak English and Arabic, so he would always translate to me what the coach was saying. And the coach would try to speak a little English, but it was not clear. During training, it's easier, but during the game, there's no time to translate and all this, so you'd never understand. But when he left, they brought an Arabic coach. He was Arabic Belgian. He could speak English, he could speak Belgian, he could speak Arabic. But then he would only speak Arabic. And then when you tell him, Coach, I've not understood, he replies to you in English, You've not understood, get out. Simple as that. So obviously that shows you, yes, that shows you that you've not understood. It's not like they're hiding the discrimination. You've not understood, get out. But to see how you asked me how I handled it. Most times when like it's a training drill, you stand behind, so you see what everyone else is doing, and then then you copy. But then like if it's in the gameplay, maybe you find a teammate who understands a little bit. You ask them what has the coach said. They try to translate for you quickly. It's like maybe we're playing one touch, we're playing two touches, we're playing possession. Quickly, you have to try to get someone to explain to you. But most times, at least you find someone who knows a little English to explain to you. That's how that is. That's how I would say that I was able to try to cope with it.
So Letti, Nelson Ssenkatuka points out some crucial talking points. Of course, when he was in Morocco and all, the language barrier, the racism and all that he had to deal with. You here, some of players like you who have been able to who have been able to finish education and attain a degree or something like that, have been termed as people who don't go through such situations.
Yeah.
You understand? And maybe we are wrong. What is your experience of fighting mental health and depression before you became a practitioner and before you reach this level you are at right now?
I remember the time when I got a career-threatening injury, at Bull, when I got a fracture, on my left leg. I remember the very first thing that I even shouted when I just gotten that injury was like, I'm going to become an ex-international at such a tender age. And to somebody, they would just think that it is just a statement made out of just making it a statement. But then it was really deep. Because to me, I thought, yes, I went to school, but then playing soccer, it is something that I do.
It's your passion.
It's like, it's my passion. It's something that I, like, it whatsoever like I'm doing, I really feel that, yes, I'm supposed to be in this place. So I was missing a sport that I like with all my heart. And then I was thinking what is going to happen after. So that mental toll alone, it didn't put me in the right place, honestly, because I remember speaking to my brother Hannington and telling him, do you know what? Make sure that you're always around me. Otherwise,
you
I have a
aren't
feeling that I've lost it in life. Yes, I went to school, but then I felt I would make it to the national team. I felt I would go pro. I felt I would do quite a number of things out of playing football. But then check, I've lost it all. So now what can I do? So he was my very first support system. He would encourage me, come on, you're going to get back. And in a way, I started realizing that, you know what? Yes, it's a challenge. Let me look at it as a challenge. But then after some time, I'll recover and get back and play. So why did I maybe give that example? I was thinking that if at all I never had, let me say, somebody to run to and speak to, or somebody to maybe set me with some positive maybe self-talks and all those things, I have a feeling that never now I would have even committed suicide. I would have like taken maybe any decision, which to me, I was thinking it was right, yet it was a wrong decision. So there are quite a number of things. Speak about maybe having a few clashes with even the coaches, because I want to honestly tell you that it's not about maybe injuries or what, but then some of us are players
fitting in the system.
fitting in the system alone.
Yeah.
Speak about the exploitation. Some players are overly exploited, honestly. And I know, Peter, you know those things.
That's true.
Yeah. So yes, we might be footballers now. We might be the stars that people see, but then we're also humans. So we are not immune to maybe any mental health related challenge.
I'm going to come to you, but listen to the question I'm going to ask Nelson Ssenkatuka. Maybe you'll also jump in.
Okay.
Nelson, for the time that you've played football in Uganda, just how much of depression, anxiety, and mental health has affected Ugandan footballers? Just to what extent, according to you, and what are some of those things you feel when they happen, it's extremely difficult for a player to recover. Because some of these things people don't know. If you can point out maybe how a coach talks to a player, feeding, I don't know. Just put it down, break it down for me.
For the time I played Ugandan football, obviously, like the social media is more now, and the emphasis on mental health is bigger now. But maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it wasn't as big. But you'd still see these things happening, and maybe let me give you an example. There's some teammates who even just now, like at URA, he's not making the match day squad week in, week out, week in, week out, but he's working hard. In the friendly matches, he's performing well, and then on the match day squad, he's left behind. Someone comes and trains 2 days, then the squad before him. So he comes and asks me, "Am I just not good enough? Am I cursed? Am I not loved or liked?" And you
That keeps happening.
exactly week in, week out, and you're trying to encourage them, saying you're good enough. Just be patient. Your time will come. I've been through this as well, and especially young players now, because young players are eager to be playing. They think they're good enough. They have to be in the squad and all this. So it's always been happening. Right now there's some players who I try to mentor, who I try to speak to, and the first thing I always ask them is, "Are you happy?" Because when you're happy, then at least you have a reason to live, because there's something that's making you happy. But once you lose your happiness, if you're not enjoying the training, you're not enjoying the football, you're not enjoying life, then it's becoming extreme. But once there's some sort of happiness, something you're looking forward to. And when you asked me about the extent that it's been, I'll give you an example of, like, maybe when you miss a penalty, or
Unobvious opportunity.
yeah, an obvious chance, and then you hear the fans shouting. Of course, in the moment in the game, you can easily switch off and continue playing the game. But at the end of the day, when maybe your team has lost, in the night you can't sleep. You're thinking about the chance you missed, about the penalty you missed. Social media is going on about how this guy is not good enough, how he should have done this and he should have done that. I'll give you example of, like, Okello at AFCON, when he missed the penalty. In Chan, he was scoring all the penalties. For Vipers, he's scoring all the penalties. And then one penalty miss makes him a bad player.
He received
Exactly.
too much attack.
Too much. Even up to now, people
Even
are
up to
still
now.
hating on him, and you're thinking on social media. If he sees it, of course, I know what Okello has been through. He's been to Algeria. He's gone through something similar to me, so he must have some tough skin right now.
Sure.
If he didn't have it, maybe I don't think he'd be playing at this level. So I'm sure that he might see some of them, but I'm sure he's tough enough to go through this. Because even on the other side, even when he scores the penalties, he only scores penalties. You understand? So you can't please these people. When you miss, it's bad. When you score, it's bad. So, man, I don't know.
You're in
But
the middle.
yes,
You don't know.
should I score? Should I miss? Should I? You can't please people. So it's better to just focus on your game. Do what's best for yourself and for the team, and ignore the people on social media. Because even right now, the hate on social media and the hate online, there are people there who are just, maybe they think they're comedians, or their life is not going so well, so they try to put the hate on other people. He's just down there, maybe he's never seen you play, he's never watched you, he doesn't even know you, but he tries to project something negative to you every time. And this negativity, people think it's a joke, but it affects people's lives. It really affects people's lives. Not everyone is as mentally strong. You might say something negative when a player is going through maybe a bad spell, maybe he has a sick relative, or he's having a bad time, and this just keeps worsens his depression, worsens his anxiety, and all these things. So I think people should focus more on being kind
And being positive.
and being positive than
Do
being
you think
negative.
Ugandan football fans are yet to understand what is banter and what is not banter?
No, not yet.
No, I don't
Not
think they
yet.
know. They don't know where the line stops. They cross the line all the time, because you see some of the things online. I'll give you an example of this. This new KCC striker. Is it Musero or something? Yes.
They're calling him Andama.
Kennedy was.
Kennedy. If Kennedy sees some of the things online, he's from the regional league.
Sure.
He scored 16 goals, so he can score.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not yet at the level to score at KCC, but he can get there. He needs time, he needs training, but in just his first season, his first games, it can completely switch off his confidence, switch off his self-belief, and he will never play football again because of the things that are being said online if he sees them. Because like I don't know.
And you know,
It's
people
a lot of
people
negativity.
even creating memes out of it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
It's
Yes, he's a young man.
Yes, and
Yeah,
it's really tough.
Joshua, from your side, just how much is the mental health issue in the Ugandan football setup right now? And maybe what are some of those things you've picked out and you think this is killing the players? This is really killing the players.
To me, the very first thing is that mental health, more so amongst Ugandan footballers or Ugandan athletes, it hasn't been prioritized, honestly. Because speak about all the UPL clubs, for example. If you're to make a survey, I highly doubt that there are even 5 teams that have a mental health professional. I'm not speaking about a sports psychologist, but at least a mental health professional or practitioner on that technical stuff. Because all these things are being left to for the coaches, managers,
And the players
and the players themselves, the senior players. So employing a sports psychologist could be quite expensive. But then there are some, let me say, mental health practitioners that can render help. At least for the start, we can start by doing that. And even equipping, let me say, the senior players, speak about club captains, all any given officials in the club, at least with basic skills, like the ones we talked about. So to me, I strongly believe that speaking about Ugandan football, it's indeed, there's still a crisis
in dire need.
in that line.
In that line,
Yeah.
Nelson spoke about social media abuse and people, jumping at players just because they've done mistake ABCD. Apart from social media abuse, what other things do you feel have pulled players down in clubs? I'm emphasizing this because there's a player out there who is going to watch this episode and they're going to learn that if they don't do ABCD, they're actually slipping into depression.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is some other thing that Nelly also knows about, the game pressures.
Yeah.
Most of the Ugandan footballers don't know how to go about game pressures. Speak about the tension that comes with maybe a match, to some even trainings. There are certain players, more so the young ones, even entering the pitch when they're going to start to train, you can see the guy is not at ease. The guy is on pressure.
Just a mere training
I mean,
session,
just a mere training session, but the
not-
guy is not even at ease. So you can be like, hey man, totally steady. Chichi. Hey man, tia coach. You know?
Yeah. Okay, like
And this guy,
fearing
he can't
to make a
honestly, yeah.
mistake or
You know? Yeah.
when you make a mistake, maybe you're not in the squad tomorrow.
Uh-huh. So that alone, it is already killing him, and it highly affects his performance. Why? Instead of maybe trying out a given shot, he'll just pass the ball. Instead of trying out something, he's going to be so timid and he'll only play safe. And then you're limiting him, and then speak about his performance. He's going to be average. Nearly most of the time, he speaks about it and he calls it, you're average. Try doing something. You're average. Let it do something. You're average. Challenge yourself. Do something.
Yeah.
Stop being average. You know, even how, for example, let me say a coach. Yeah, I'm not going to maybe mention a given coach or
No.
but then
It's a general picture.
coaches, to me, they're meant to be parents. In the setup that we are in, me as a footballer, in the moment that I get an issue, I'm going to run to the coach. But then, like I said, these coaches are also human. You might talk to a coach.
Every move is to wow.
Kwekamanga chintu chinene. And then you might talk to a coach. He's also having his own issues. Before you know it, you don't get the response that you want. Instead, the coach can even stereotype you.
Yeah,
He
and
tags,
then life
you know,
moves on.
yeah, he tags a certain name. Akukaletina ikanafu tekasobola na, tekasobola naku like eyensonga nawe ng'ogireta wano.
Nafu nnyo.
But he might think it's a very small issue, but then things hit us differently. Peter, something that might hit you,
Not the same as
it is not something that might hit Joshua. So I strongly believe that even our coaches, they need to change the way. I'm not saying that they are not good, no, but then they need to at least
they need to embrace
appreciate and appreciate and accept whatsoever these players are telling them. And then they find possible ways of how to deal with them, more so in line with their mental health, honestly.
I think to add on that, I think the biggest cause of maybe depression and mental health in Uganda right now is, first of all, the players they come from. Most of the players come from not so well off background, so they're literally from a young age they're the breadwinners of the family. You come to the level of football in Uganda, and the pay is very little. A player will come to training over the pitch. He has a phone call from the village. Mom is sick. The rent is due. Mom's rent is due. Your own rent is due. Because
daughter is in
yeah,
hospital.
your daughter is in hospital. Many players tell me this. Like when you're certain teams, like not all the teams pay. Maybe the top, maybe 7, 8 teams pay good money and on time. He'll come for a match. The landlord was calling. His mom was calling. He's sick. There's no way he can. He has so many problems in the head. Like even some players come to me and they're like, man, captain, I have this problem, help me. I can help you this month. But then what about the rest of the 3 months or the 4 months or the 5 months? It cannot happen again and again. And some of them come back and I try to give them solutions like maybe try to start a business to get some more income or try to save more but from the background of the players, the responsibilities are so many that they become a burden to them. It makes them mentally unstable. It becomes a problem to them as well. And then when you come to football as well, the money is not coming. Your source of income is not stable as well. So all these problems, I think that's the biggest problem to me because if you're not getting paid and you have family problems, then there's
With what you've described, what percentage are we on or in Ugandan football where I, a fan, I am looking forward to Team X versus Team Y, top of the table clash, and I pay my ticket to enter the stadium, but you, the player or the captain, you know that on the first 11, only 3 players are mentally fit. The rest, guno gwawe dead. But well, what's that percentage? You would say, Nelly?
when you find maybe 10th against 11th, and maybe let's say Mbar City has to go all the way to Calvary, then we go in the bus ride, they're not going to pay us. And then why should I? You find that game is almost gone case. No one is even training for the game. I think the percentage may be 70%.
By the
time you reach there,
the bus sets
you're
off,
trying
it's
to
a loss.
motivate the players yourself. You're like, Tugenze, what do they call it? Kutusa mokolo. I would obviously ask Joshua because he's the professional here. When do I know? Because the first step is to speak out, to seek help. When do I know that actually now I might have a problem? Because we've not talked about maybe the signs and the symptoms. Because as I said, maybe I never wanted to train. I always wanted to sleep.
You isolated
Maybe
yourself.
I'm angry. I'm isolating, or I don't want to associate with people. So maybe you could tell the people or the players out there that when maybe you start to feel like this or this starts to happen, that might be a trigger that maybe you need to seek help. What can they?
Okay, thank you very much, Nelly, for such a wonderful question. And I want to answer it by saying that mental health is simply one's mental well being. That means that you have the capability of dealing with your day to day life activities. Speak about waking up, brushing your teeth, dress up, show up, enjoy yourself like on the training and all
Or
those
whichever
things.
work you're doing.
You eat or whichever work you're doing. But then when you start seeing yourself like
You don't want to do
you're a
it
bit dull,
anymore.
you're lacking motivation, you don't want to do it anymore. You're like, the rock training, you know, you start getting angry in a way. You start changing just like that. Mood swings, you know. When you see such things happening,
That's
speak to somebody.
That's
and
a
then you're
trigger.
like, you know what, Joshua? Sikyetegeera bulungi. And then if Joshua is honest with you, they'll be like, Neri nange mbadde nkulaba naye. Olowooza lwaki tetwogerako ne Peter ayinza otuyamba. You know? And then I think you see that mode and the procedure that you're using, then you're going to find the help. So if you can't handle that the day-to-day stressors of your life,
That's a red flag.
that's a red flag that there's a problem.
Oluzungu oluwulidde.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Letti,
Yeah.
please tell me what you pursued right now and what are you qualified in regards to mental health?
Joshua Letti is a graduate with a bachelor's degree in mental health and community psychology from Makerere University in Kampala. They told us that you have to be specific, you know.
Yeah.
So what I do, honestly, is that I do mental. Actually, I also work with Eye Care Foundation. Yeah, and Eye Care Foundation, it's a non-profit organization, and it uses basketball as a tool to reach out and then offering mental health related support. and we call ourselves the mental health blockers and ambassadors. So we speak to athletes, we take through athletes through different techniques and how best to deal with anything that is related to their mental health. And so back to the other question that you asked,
Yes.
of what are some of the few things that I'm doing for my other fellow footballers and fellow athletes. One, in regards to our profession, it is not duly right for me to offer those services, for example, to my teammates. Because, like you know, it's a community whereby we are seeing each other day in, day out. So, what preferably I do is that I refer them to my other colleagues. And so, to me, I also strongly believe that that's in the bid of helping them out, because in referring them, they also get the professional help that they need. And then, secondly, I encourage them to always speak out. Of course, advocacy work on my social media platforms. I strongly believe, like Nelly said, that the fact that some athletes are even the breadwinners, if I'm mentally well, me the breadwinner, trust me, my other family is also going to be well, because I'm going to encourage them, I'm going to encourage them to speak out and all those sorts of things.
For the time that you've been doing this as you play a football career, how many souls have you won over? What is the perception away from only not only your club but in the league and the officials and all? What paint for me a picture? How have people embraced being opening up and speaking about mental health? Yeah, just how has it been for?
Honestly, first, may I call them success stories?
Yes.
Yeah. Allow me not to mention names for now.
No, you don't
But
need
then
to.
there are quite a number of players, and some are big names, mind you.
Oh.
Yes. So, of course, we take them through a series of procedures and assessments, and then we see of the different problems that are affecting that person, or the different mental health related challenges that are affecting that person. And then, of course, we offer support, then we follow up, and then before you know it, you're seeing that player thriving and then enjoying himself once again. People are now embracing it. It's becoming normal, because quite a number of people are now feeling okay speaking about their mental health related challenges. And this is what we honestly wanted, because if Letti shares his story, if Nelly shares their story, if Peter shares their story, trust me, somebody out there is going to pick a word or two. And then they're going to maybe pick a leaf, and then it will give them the morale to also maybe share their story. And then in so doing, you see ourselves maybe learning from each other, because we always say that you learn, you relearn, and you unlearn.
Yeah, really appreciate you for that good job that you're doing.
Thank you.
If you're a footballer out there, you're an administrator in Uganda, the Ugandan football setup, and even in sports generally, and there's a mental issue that you have to deal with, we have a professional here in Lubwama, Letti, the tallest Muganda. Surely come through and is going to make sure that you're sorted.
I would like to ask Letty a question.
Please.
Yes.
Do you ever heal from the depression? Or do people ever heal from the depression?
Yes, you can.
100%.
Not, there are cases when people relapse. By saying relapsing, I guess you know the meaning. It comes back once again. But then that depends on the way you take yourself through out of that given challenge that you've been facing. Because if you're told you have a proper support system, it will take you quite a long time not to relapse. Yeah, surely, I can't tell you that yes, you can heal 110%, no. But trust me, with a proper support system and with proper guidance, you can literally heal.
My question to you is, we talk about these things and talk about people opening up and being honest with discussions and all of that. If you're in a setup where you really have to be patient as you heal or as you adjust, how are you able to swim through that tide? Because many of the people I think are in that setup. You're in a setup where a coach doesn't believe in you. You're in a setup where a coach has wrong systems or their approach is different, but you have a 2-year contract. You don't have a 3-month contract. So how have you been able to deal with situations like that, Neil?
For me personally, I was from Morocco until now. There are many things that I've been doing that made me stronger mentally. That certain things maybe might not affect me now, but maybe might affect other players. So some of the things that I I was lucky to get on. Obviously, I have like people around me who help me, who speak to me, who give me ideas. But one of the things that really helped me was I started to read books. So when you read books about psychology and books about mental health and books about life, like there's some books like I researched online, I could see that I think at that moment also Jesse Lingard was going through a difficult time. So I saw some of the books that he would post on his Snapchat that he was reading. So I used to ask some of my friends to send me these books. So I have very many books actually on my phone that I read, and I also send to some of my friends to read to try and to encourage them to build their mental strength. So I was reading a lot. So when you have something to distract you, is a good thing. I think maybe Coach Mike never had something to distract him. Maybe if he had maybe young kids, he was training or something to distract him to keep him busy. So first of all, I was reading books. And then second of all, another thing, like these days, there's a lot of content on social media. There are many podcasts like yours. You can watch what people are going through, what players are going through, the advice they're giving,
So
things
for
they're
example,
doing.
there are many podcasts like Pizza
Like
doing
Pizza.
a good job. Yeah,
Many-
first rewind and say.
There are many podcasts like Pitchside doing a good job. Now, many people are going to watch this and they're going to get many ideas.
And trust
So
me, Neil, I told
it's a big thing.
yaina amasanyalaze because
Tulimumu amasanyalaze kati. Amasanyalaze kaya mangi mu.
Kakiri.
But anyway, so watching videos online, YouTube, reading, and then I think the books helped me a lot because I reached a point where literally in the beginning I never wanted to train. Then I reached a point where I had to train and I was just angry at everyone. So if you come at me, I'm either kicking you or abusing you
Or you're not
or
listening to
I'm not listening. Then you reach a point where now you just don't give a damn. Whatever they say. Then
You have to have a lot of
yeah. Then I reached a point where now, after like reading, I reached a point of like you don't get angry, you don't happy, you're just like in a flow state. Whether they shout at you, whether they don't play you, whether you're fine, you understand. Whether something good happens, like now, even if I score a goal, I'm not so excited. If I miss, I'm not so down. I'm just
which is not good.
it's good because now you're mentally stable.
Oh,
You don't get so excited, you don't get so down, so you're now in a flow state where you let things happen, you let maybe God handle all the things. So
that's an acceptance state.
yeah, so you just know that
Accepted.
it's not so positive, not so negative, but you're in a good situation. So people out there, if they can get books to read, if they can watch content online, it will be good for them. That's how I handle that's how I've been able to handle. Obviously, also praying a lot and getting closer to God and all these things.
all right. Letti, as we conclude this interview, there is one factor that I really think we've not talked about: the surroundings of a person in this setup of mental health. Just how crucial is the people that you're surrounded with and your immediate family. Just how important is this? Because you're talking about Coach Harold mistreating you at training, but then when you go back home, there's domestic abuse.
Sure.
There is all of this. There's drug abuse. I mean, you as a professional practitioner right now, just how crucial is it that even your surroundings matter for you to heal?
And this is the support system that I was talking about.
Yes.
And by saying a support system,
Yeah.
I'm speaking about your family, your immediate family, your other broader family. I'm speaking about the friends, the teammates, the coaches, football stakeholders. All those things are in that docket of a support system. And it is crucial. Why is it crucial? Yes, I'm going to spend 2 hours at the training ground, but most of the hours of that day, I'm going to be somewhere. So in that environment where I'm going to be, it highly impacts the way I feel. And then there is a phrase that says that how I feel determines how I think, and how I think determines how I behave. You get? So you're from that training pitch for 2 hours, and then you're going to go back to your home. You're going to catch up with friends. What are they speaking about? What are they taking in? Are they taking some drugs? Like, do they encourage you to go to church, like Nelly said? So you also have to be mindful of the people that you spend most of your time with. Because like the phrase goes that birds of the same feathers, they flock together. So in a way, or to these people are going to win your soul, these people are going to win everything, and then you're going to end up following what they do. And that is unknowingly.
So you have to control yourself.
So you have to control yourself. And then you brought in an important aspect of social media. My fellow athletes, there is what we call a scroll trap. By saying a scroll trap, you grab your phone, you start scrolling. Before you know it, an hour goes. Before you know it, 2 hours go, 3 hours. And then as athletes, we need the rest, we need the sleep. And then this as well affects your mental well-being. Because if you don't, because one of the few remedies for a proper mental well-being and a proper mental health is having enough sleep. But then you scrolling that phone, trust me, it is going to distort your sleeping patterns. And then you'll have issues as a player. And then speaking about still that social media that is brought about by that scroll trap, take it in mind that for whatsoever comment that you read, yes, in that moment you might think, talina kyagamba tebinkwatako,
It triggers you.
but it is going to trigger something. Before you know it, you're going to look out for another comment on a given social media, on some other given social media platform. If you find one comment on Facebook, you're going to follow that same, for example, post on X. Then you're going to as well look out for those comments and you're like, wano bagambye eki. Just imagine you also find that there is fire that side. So before you know it, you'll look at Instagram bagamba ki. And before you know it, there's also fire. So it is going to affect you mentally. Yet that person that is creating all that fire and the havoc,
He's
for him
enjoying.
is maybe he's even in his office enjoying himself and even in a worse situation than you are in. So I encourage my fellow athletes not to so much like create boundaries. Yeah, create boundaries. No, after a game, I'm not going to look at
Do something else.
any post.
Watch news.
I'll watch news. I'll
Sleep.
just use my phone. I'll go watch pitch side. What is Peter telling us today?
A lot of content.
A lot
there.
of content there.
Yes.
So look out for pitch side. Watch content because this content is in line with our jobs. Trust me, it is in line with what we do. So look out for things that add up to you.
Nelly and Joshua Lubwama, there's one major question. The final one,
Yeah.
which I need you guys to address. And that question is failure. In life, we all fail.
Yeah.
Never wake up in the morning and think for you, you're going to be winning every time.
Sure.
In sport, it's worse. You can fail for 4 consecutive match days and then rise up later.
Yeah.
Nelson Ssenkatuka, how have you handled failure in your career? And that doesn't say that you are a failure, but there are moments where you've not come through and it's normal. How have you handled failure, and what would you tell a footballer out there about handling failure?
Over the past few years, from the content I see online, from reading books, I think Giannis, the basketball player, he was like, there's no failure in sports. There's just steps to success. Some of those quotes, there's no failure in sports, it's just steps to success.
Yeah.
Then I think Oli Watkins also in one of the podcasts that I watched, you will fail more than you will succeed. You will miss more chances than you score. Because you might get 5 chances in a game, you score maybe 3. It's impossible to be perfect. So once you accept that you're not perfect, it becomes easier to handle. Because there's some people who are playing under pressure, you want to be perfect, to succeed every time. It is impossible. Even people who are not even in football, in sports, you will not, let's say you're a car salesman, you will not sell a car every single day. If maybe you make chapatis and Rolex, you will not sell every single egg or every single chapati in the day. So failure is part of life. It teaches us, for me, it makes me mentally stronger. It pushes me to work harder. It pushes me also to make sure that next time I do better than the previous time. So that's how I handle failure.
All right, that's well put. Failure in line with what you're doing and in your career.
Generally, in life, may I embrace failure as a stepping stone for my next success. First of all, that is how I embrace failure. And then secondly, I've been taught and I've been from church, from school, how to embrace failure. Then look out for the positives out of anything that transpires from the failure, because there are quotes that tell us that even the greatest of people at a certain time they failed.
Yeah.
So meaning that failure is part of life, honestly. And then I strongly believe that in the moment that I fail, something good is going to happen later.
So positivity.
And positivity is the way to go. So look out for any positive, however small it might be, in anything. So you'll deal with failure.
in
and
that
then
way.
accept and allow that failure is part of us. So in the moment you fail, make sure that you learn something out of it, and then embrace it, and then keep pushing.
All right.
Definitely you'll succeed.
Some people say if you're failing, at least you're trying.
Yes.
Try and fail, but don't fail to try. Because
Surely.
now, like in football, if you're a big name, people are looking to you. People are looking up to you. Are you going to shy away also? Let's
No.
say the team gets a penalty. Everyone is saying,
Nelly.
Nelly, you have to take the penalty for us. Everyone else is scared. Are you going to shy away? Are you going to try and fail? Or are you going to fail to try? You look at the bigger side. If I succeed, if I don't succeed, you always look for the positive to try and succeed always.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a very, very good chat. Your final shots, Joshua Lubwama. Thank you for coming through on pitch side, very first time and not the last, certainly.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I want to end this by explaining something small to everybody and to the different athletes. And it's in line with the mental illness. To each and every one of us that has a brain, has a mind. So each and everybody has mental health. You know? Not each and everybody has a mental disorder. Some people have mental illnesses, and these are just conditions. And you know, a condition, it's like a composition of signs and symptoms.
Yeah.
So some people are just mentally unwell, and then they want to term themselves as having mental health related disorders or mental health related illnesses, yet they're just mentally unwell. So to each and every one that is watching this podcast, it is okay not to be okay. Because like I said, to each and everybody that has a brain and a mind, they have mental health, and they can be mentally unwell, the fact that they have mental health. So it is really okay not to be okay. And then Peter, thank you very much for having us.
Yeah.
And then how I pray that we continue normalizing such conversations. And it is really so crucial, because I strongly believe that the biggest percentage of the sport that we play is mental. And then the smallest percentage is physical. So thank you very much once again for having us. It's always a pleasure.
Okay. Thank you very much, Joshua Lubwama, Letti. You are AFC, Sand Cranes, Uganda Cranes,
Sure.
and the rest.
Yeah.
Nelson Ssenkatuka, your parting shots as I wrap up today's podcast.
It's been a pleasure being here. It's been a pleasure speaking to you and speaking to Joshua. Obviously, I've been on one of Joshua's X Spaces.
Sure.
It's an honor to be called upon to speak on behalf of the players and to share my views and what I've gone through. And thank you for having me. And hopefully, you can meet again another time and have another chat.
Yeah, we will definitely do that. Guys, you need to know that I have you guys at heart.
Sure.
At least I try to make sure that I put out Ugandan footballers out there in a good way or in whichever way. I had an interview with Isaac Nsenjiyumva on pitch side, and he really, really blew my mind because he switched from a career of football so early, around 25, 26.
Hey, Midi.
Yeah, and he's selling his supplements to you guys, some people around in the UPL. And I was thinking, yeah, he's really, really battled mental health, and he's winning because he didn't sit back and cry. And I was like, you know what, this football, knee injuries and all, Modewali, let me work on selling supplements, and it's a good thing. So, in one way or another, we're all trying to make sure we actually, help ourselves, not only football, but ourselves in this community. So, guys, like I keep saying, number one, please subscribe. Thank you so much for following the channel, and thank you for watching this content. So, keep it pitch side. Cheers.